I graduated high school. I was a photojournalist working for a newspaper. Didn't see that paying for college. And so I started looking at my options, and I looked at the Army, and I looked at the other branches too, but the Army suited me the best. And so I went with the Army. I had family ties to the Army. The other benefits to me, are great, but the college benefits were the number one priority for me.
This is First to Strike, the podcast of the United States Army Baton Rouge Recruiting Battalion.
When you are thinking about serving in the United States Army, you are thinking about your future. And with that, there are a lot of practical considerations. This is the benefits episode of First to Strike. Season 1, Episode 5, my name is Catherine O'Brien. On almost every episode so far of First to Strike, someone has mentioned that Army service is about being a part of something bigger than yourself. But Army service is also a financial decision as well. Staff Sergeant Daniel Brooks, who is a virtual recruiter in Baton Rouge, joins us on the First to Strike podcast to talk benefits. Don't worry, we do, of course, get to college funding, and Staff Sergeant Brooks doesn't let the show end without talking a little bit about Army quality of life.
Can you tell us a little bit about the enlistment bonus and how that works?
Enlistment bonuses are seasonal. There are certain initiatives with recruiting, so not everybody's entitled to a bonus. So sometimes a bonus is attached to a certain job. Sometimes a bonus is seasonal in the sense of, hey, we're going to take the first 100 people to enlist during this time is going to get this bonus. So it's not guaranteed to everyone.
And I know that sometimes if you have a particular skill that the Army needs.
Yeah, so like if you're, let's just say, in the medical field, or you're a welder or a truck driver, something specific, there might be a bonus attached to that specifically. So if you have a CDL, we don't have to train you, and so now you get a bonus.
Language skills?
Language skills help too, yeah, because we have training in California, actually, where we send you for 2 years to get trained in a totally different language. And if you come in already knowing a language, then the Army doesn't have to spend that money to send you to training. And so they can give you a bonus as compensation.
Does it ever change for what the Army is needing at a particular time?
Yes. So if there's a shortage of a particular MOS, then the Army can use a bonus to fulfill that shortage. Or if there's seniors, so for instance right now, every senior that joins, from the day that they join until the day that they graduate, they get $500 a month as an incentive. If they join the first day of their senior year, they will collect that $500 for the whole senior year every month. If they join the last day of their senior year, they get 1 month. They get $500. So it's dependent upon when they join.
How is the Army different in that you're not just getting paid for your work, that there's all kinds of allowances that go along with your pay?
Yeah, there's tons of allowances. There's housing allowance, there's food allowance, there's, of course, your college benefits. You have medical and dental benefits. None of these things you have to pay into, unlike other jobs where you have to pay for everything out of pocket. You don't have to. You get clothing allowance too. You don't have to pay for your house, your rent. You don't have to pay for your medical and dental benefits, which is very costly. So that's a nice bonus. So I'll give you a couple of examples. When I first joined and I first started taking college classes, I was awarded college credit for the training that I had received, whereas my counterparts who graduated high school and they went directly into college, they had to work their way up to get that first semester of college over with, or that first year of college over with. By the time that I joined and I scheduled classes, I already had 24 college credit hours under my belt just from the training that I had done in the Army. So does it set you back? Absolutely not. In fact, you're actually ahead of your peers at that point. Another aspect of it is I had a break in service. I joined for 4 years and then I got out and I went to work as a correctional officer in a prison. Okay. I was getting paid a regular salary, but I had to pay everything out of pocket for the house that I bought and my cars and medical and dental. and you had copay and everything for the insurance. And I started missing the active duty benefits that you get, the Army benefits. And so I just made the choice to come back in because it was the best thing for me at the time. Was I didn't want to have to worry about all those other bills. I just wanted to get my paycheck and have everything taken care of. And so the pay is really good, and then on top of that, you get all these benefits as well.
What's the best way for somebody who is considering Army service to really see the difference and to really see the breakdown on what the real compensation is going to be like?
There's a compensation chart on GoArmy.com.
So you can see, like, compared to the private sector?
Yes, you can.
Awesome. So let's turn to something very exciting, very dynamic. Hold on to your hats. Let me just say, this is the part that all the parents want to know about and the influencers are going to be interested in, and that's insurance. You mentioned it before. A lot of times it's out of pocket. Tell us a little bit about medical, dental, and life insurance, which a lot of people don't think about.
All right. So parents oftentimes have to pay for their dependents' medical and dental benefits. Sometimes you can spend $300 a month paying for those bills, and it racks up. It gets expensive. So the Army takes care of all that for the soldier, and even for the family members as well, the dependents of that soldier. Let's say that soldier is single. Well, that soldier's going to have completely free medical and dental benefits, and there's a hospital on every Army installation. So they just go in and get taken care of with whatever the situation is. They also have life insurance, and their life insurance is $400,000. So that's pretty good life insurance if something were to happen to them, and they can designate whoever they want to receive that money. If they're married, if the soldier's married, those medical and dental benefits include their spouse and children as well. So, as well as life insurance. Now, the spouse doesn't get the full $400,000. They're not insured for $400,000, but they are insured for $100,000. So that's still pretty good. And
like you mentioned, a lot of times employers, like I'm thinking about dental insurance, that sometimes is a premium in the private sector, but whereas everybody has that in the Army.
Everybody has it, yes. Anybody that wears the uniform has the medical and dental benefits. If you want to go get braces, we all know how much braces are. If you want to go get braces, an Army doctor can put those on for free. Some people join the Army just for the benefits because they've never had benefits before. And so you want to get the quality of life that you have in the Army.
You mentioned that people come in frequently, the age that they might be single, but then as their life progresses, they might get married and have families. Can you tell us a little bit about how does the Army support family? Are there family support services?
Absolutely. There's family support groups throughout the Army, and every unit that you get assigned to, there's family support groups. The Army really does take care of families. Everything from providing a house with the number of bedrooms required for the number of kids that you have, or all the different services that they have on installations, like a grocery store, we call that a commissary, the exchange, where you can do any kind of shopping that you really want to do. It's almost like going to a Walmart or something. I mean, it's that big, and you can get anything you want. Everything's tax free. So honestly, the spouse and the family members, they get to experience a part of the military culture that you wouldn't normally get to experience outside of the Army. There's tons of different services, everything from discounts, military discounts at different places you go. Like I said, the medical and dental, the shopping.
Did the letters MWR mean anything to you?
Yes, it does. The MWR stands for Morale, Welfare, and Recreation.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Morale, Welfare, and Recreation is an organization in the Army where you can do tons of stuff through them. You can go on trips, MWR trips. When I was stationed in Germany, I would go on MWR trips to places like Spain or places like Austria, and you just go for the weekend. You go for maybe a week, and they have different services set up while you're there. You get to go on, or you get to participate in different events, whatever's in that local area. It might be wine tasting. It might be I mean, I took a MWR trip once down the Rhine River in Germany, and we hit up every little spot to taste wine. There's child care services through for the military, for the kids. There's also schools, on post schools that they go to. Those schools oftentimes are way ahead of public schools. The curriculum is more advanced. The kids are already more disciplined because they have military parents, because we believe in standards. You don't see a lot of fighting. You don't see a lot of bullying. There's a lot of things you don't see in those on-base schools that you would see in a public school.
What do you think the rationale for having this MWR program is?
The rationale for the MWR program would be to improve the quality of life for soldiers and families. The Army and all of its programs is really about the quality of life for soldiers.
You mentioned the discounts. So there are private sector businesses, we all know them, that offer military discounts. Would you consider that to be part of the benefit of being in the Army?
I think that's a huge perk to being in the Army. I'll give you an example. I go to lunch every day, and I make it a point to ask, hey, do you have military discounts? And a lot of the restaurants, the chains that I go to, they say yes, because they appreciate us in uniform, and they appreciate what we do for this, the public, for America. And so I think it's nice, honestly. I'm honored whenever I get a discount.
Are there things that there can be advantageous, like home loans, if for people who are buying houses and such?
Yes, actually, once you're considered a veteran, you are entitled to home loans up to well, there's no cap on it, as long as you can afford to pay it. But there's also small business loans where you can get up to $200,000 small business loan, and this is all from the Veterans Affairs, but it ties into your service to your country.
We shall hold off no longer. A lot of people are listening to this just because they want to hear the next part, and that is college. Have you heard of college benefits for serving in the Army?
I have. In fact, I'm using them.
Oh, currently you're using them?
I'm currently using them, yes.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that.
All right. So you sign up for college classes, and the Army pays for 100% of your tuition. Typically, these classes you can do on Army installation. You can do these classes online. You can choose from a 2-year college to a 4-year college. Even after you're done with your bachelor's degree, you can pursue a master's degree, all funded by the Army, all taken care of by the Army's Tuition Assistance Program. So that's one option. But then on top of that, the first year that you're in the Army, you pay towards your Montgomery GI Bill. It's only $100 a month out of your paycheck, but the benefits that you get are substantial. When you get out of the Army, you can use those Montgomery GI Bill benefits, and basically you get 100% of your tuition paid for up to 4 years. You get all of your housing paid for up to 4 years, and you get $1,000 a year stipend for books and things like that.
So I'm sorry. So you get your college housing paid for as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, college, whether you live in the dorms or whether you rent an apartment, or whether you buy a house and you're paying on your mortgage.
Wow,
yeah.
That's pretty good. Okay, so let's break it down. So you're in the Army. Your first year, you start contributing $100 from your paycheck towards the Montgomery GI Bill.
Right, and it's only for that first year. After that, you don't pay anything more towards the Montgomery GI Bill. So the Montgomery GI Bill was a program that was brought up following World War II. Soldiers wanted to come back from the war. They wanted to continue their education, and so I guess Congress passed the bill, and it's been around ever since following World War II.
I have heard a couple times when people are mentioning the college benefits, they say something post 9/11. Can you tell us what is that all about?
There's 2 different Montgomery GI Bills. There's actually been multiple Montgomery GI Bills, but it depends on when you join the Army. So when I joined the Army, it was just called the Montgomery GI Bill. But then after 9/11, they had a new version of it. It's called the post 9/11 Montgomery GI Bill. and each version has different entitlements. So the one that we're currently in, the post 9/11, has those entitlements that I explained, the paying for housing and paying for all of your tuition. The original Montgomery GI Bill, the one that I joined under, they just gave you a lump sum. Say it was like $60,000 to continue your education, and you pulled from that and you put it towards your tuition assistance or whatever you wanted to. I like the new Montgomery GI Bill, the post 9/11 GI Bill, because it takes care of the housing as well.
Yeah, it's really nice. And is this transferable? In the event that a soldier doesn't use it, is it transferable to their children?
It is, absolutely. You can split it up with however many children you have. You can transfer it to your spouse. So if you don't use it while you serve, while you're in uniform and you serve in the Army, you have tuition assistance funded by the Army. So you don't need to use that Montgomery GI Bill while you're in. If you decide, hey, I'm not going to use that Montgomery GI Bill when I get out because I've taken care of all my education while I was in, then transfer that to your kids, transfer it to your spouse.
All right, the last sort of financial thing that I wanted to talk about was something that a lot of people who are just at the age where they're joining the Army probably aren't thinking about. I know some 40-year-olds who aren't thinking about, and that is retirement benefits.
Oh, those are the best. I say that because I'm on my way towards retirement. And so let's say you're a 19-year-old and you join the Army, or an 18-year-old and you join the Army, and you spend 20 years on active duty. You retire at, what would you be, 38? You would retire. And you would receive a paycheck every month for the rest of your life. You start collecting that retirement the day you retire. Unlike civilian sector jobs where you work for 20 years, 30 years, you retire, but then you have to wait until that retirement age hits. I believe that's 65 now. So you'll hit 65 before you start receiving that retirement benefit, whereas in the Army you start receiving it at 38, 39, 40 whenever you retire.
And you still have a couple good years left.
Absolutely. When I retire, I plan on working another full-time job, and I'll still be collecting my retirement and, have a full-time paycheck coming in too on top of that. So
good planning.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as far as the retirement goes, you also qualify for VA medical benefits once you retire as well. So not only are you receiving your retirement paycheck, but you're also receiving VA medical benefits as well.
All right, so we've got housing, we've got insurance, we've got retirement, we've got pay, we've got college covered.
Have we talked about travel?
Let's talk about travel.
Okay. So while you serve in the Army, you can actually travel a lot. And a lot of people don't think about all the different places you can travel. Let me just tell you all the places I've traveled.
I want to hear it.
All right. So I've been to Dublin on St. Patrick's Day. I have been in Germany when they won the World Cup. I've been to England. I've been to Belgium. I've been to Netherlands. I've been to France, Poland, Czech Republic, Spain, Austria, Italy, Greece.
Okay, right up into the last one, I was thinking, these are all beer havens.
Beer or wine, yeah.
I'm detecting a theme. Just keep going.
No, but that's one of the best things that I've gained from being in the Army is all the travel. You become knowledgeable, worldly, and know how different cultures live, and you learn diversity. And I think that's been one of the biggest benefits. Being from Texas and even though Houston's a big town, but there's a lot of people in Houston that never see the outskirts of Houston. They never go beyond, outside of Houston. And I thought I was going to be one of those people growing up in Houston. I thought, I'll never leave Houston. I'll never see the world. I'll never do any of this. And then I joined the Army, and right away I started traveling, and right away I left Houston, and the first place I go is to Missouri, and then the next place that I go to was South Carolina, and then I go to California, and then I go to Germany, and I've been stationed in Germany twice, and I went back the second time because I had such fun the first time. So while I was in Germany, it was just so easy to jump on a train, and go to Paris for the weekend. I've been to Paris 6 times. It was easy just to go to Spain or go to Italy or wherever you want to go within Europe. I once took a 30 days vacation, which is something I failed to mention.
Oh, yeah, vacation.
Yeah. So you get 30 days paid vacation every year. So one year I decided I'm going to go ahead and take my 30 days of vacation time. And I got what's called a Eurail pass. And you just jump on the train and you travel around Europe for 30 days. It was magnificent. It was wonderful. I was all by myself just traveling around. And I went to so many different countries while I was there. And I felt like by the time I was done, I felt like I was relaxed. I experienced a lot of different culture, learned a lot about, different people and the way they live and diversity and between these different countries. So it was a great experience.
And I think that, too, just the sort of the personal development element of being able to travel is a real privilege.
It really is. Like I said before, I would have probably never been able to travel as much as I have. And that was all on my own just because I was living in Germany at the time. But think about all the other places that the Army has sent me for work. The Army sent me to Greece a bunch of times for work. The Army sent me to, despite what people think about it, it's still culture and diversity, learning different things. But the Army has sent me to places like Macedonia, Budapest, and where's that place that Dracula is from?
Transylvania?
Yeah.
Romania?
Romania, yeah. I went to Romania and Kuwait, and yes, I've been to Iraq and Afghanistan. And I did get to experience their cultures as well. I've been to Turkey, and all these places were for work. So, but I still got to experience their culture.
That's great. Do you feel like the person who is listening to this, who's thinking that they want to know the bottom line about, what does it mean for their life, compensation-wise and benefit-wise? Do you feel like we've answered that question?
I do. I feel like we've answered that question. Hopefully, whoever's listening to this, you get the understanding that the Army's not all about barking orders and deploying, and we actually have quality of life, and we have an enjoyable lifestyle. And with the traveling, that's a huge benefit that a lot of people just don't even think about. So if you're listening to this, open your mind up a little bit, get outside of your bubble, start traveling the world if that's something you're interested in, and receive all these great benefits that the Army has to offer.
You know me, I do have a link for you in the show notes that goes right to the compensation chart on GoArmy.com that Staff Sergeant Brooks mentioned early in the show. Take a look and you can see how pay, insurance, and all the allowances add up. In fact, there's a whole section on GoArmy.com that is dedicated to every little last detail about Army service as a financial decision. You can also give a call to 1-888-550-ARMY. That's 1-888-550-2769. That number will connect you with a real-life recruiter of your own, someone who can go over all of these details for you and your individual situation. This podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, any podcast app. Just search First to Strike and you'll find us. Hashtag First to Strike will bring you to everything that we're doing on social media. Thank you so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you next week on First to Strike.